My overseas business trip was supposed to last another month, but the deal closed early. I couldn't wait to surprise everyone by coming home. I had no idea someone else thought my mansion belonged to them. The moment I stepped onto my driveway, a woman I'd never met stormed onto my porch. She looked at me like I was the intruder. Then she told me to leave. She insisted the house belonged to the HOA now. According to her, I had no right to be there. I simply smiled and asked her one question. Instead of listening, she called the police. She reported that a stranger was trespassing. She forgot one important detail. It was my address. A police officer arrived within minutes. He listened to Linda first. Then he quietly walked over to me and asked for my side of the story. The officer didn't rush to conclusions. He asked a simple question. Do you have identification showing you live here? I smiled and reached into my jacket. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I simply handed the officer everything that proved the property belonged to me. Linda refused to back down. She insisted HOA rules overruled everything else. The officer quietly kept reading, and the silence became uncomfortable. Then one of my longtime neighbors walked over. He'd known me for more than 15 years. His words changed the entire conversation. The officer listened carefully. The officer looked from my ID to the name engraved on the mailbox, then back at Linda. That's when the entire situation started to fall apart for her. The mailbox wasn't the only proof. Every utility bill, every tax record, every document pointed to one owner, and it wasn't Linda. Then the officer asked Linda the same question. Do you have proof you own this property? She searched through her papers, but none of them answered the question. A few minutes later, my realtor arrived. She brought every purchase document, including the closing papers from years ago. The paperwork told the whole story. The purchase had been recorded years earlier. Everything was properly filed. There was nothing unclear about ownership. One neighbor quietly explained, Linda had been living there for nearly 3 weeks. Most people assumed she had permission. No one realized I was out of the country. To remove every doubt, the county records were checked. The ownership history was crystal clear. My name had never changed. Linda kept pointing to HOA paperwork, but HOA notices aren't property deeds. One by one, her arguments stopped making sense. Without saying a word, I walked the front door. The original keys still fit perfectly. Sometimes the simplest proof is impossible to argue with. After reviewing everything, the officer reached his decision. The documents spoke of themselves. The situation was finally becoming clear. The confidence Linda showed at the beginning had completely disappeared. She finally understood the mansion had never belonged to her, and the real story was only beginning.